Welcome to Living Your Path. I am Cecile Ferry, a coach and astrologer. I'm here to guide you on how to live and work in alignment with your true self so you can find fulfillment and serenity. Hello, my beautiful friends, and welcome to your Cosmic Catch-Up Update for week commencing the 3rd of November. My goodness. This may be a longer update. There is so much going on this week. It's like a full cosmic plate. And I would nearly say cosmic overload. So it's not going to be a freaky week. Don't worry. But if you feel a lot of different shifts and different energies, this is why. So bear with me as I go through this, nearly something different happening every day of the week. So you may want to take some notes. I told you last week that we had Mercury moving into Sagittarius, and maybe you felt it. I definitely have. I just suddenly felt mentally lighter, more expansive, and I got massively inspired. And I launched my new offers for the Astrology of 2026 because it's coming up. So if you're not on my newsletter, you may not have seen them. I will put a link in the show notes for you. There are 3 ways that you can access those based on whether you've had your birth chart read by me or if you want that to happen. And then I also have a very entry-level report that you can order for yourself. So go and check it out before you get caught up in the end of the year madness, because you can just either book it if it's a session with me or order the report and you can look at it later on when you are ready. Okay, so the first thing is on Tuesday. So following Mercury going in Sagittarius, we have Mars entering Sagittarius. So it was in Scorpio. The Sun is still in Scorpio. We're still feeling a lot of the Scorpio energy and maybe the post-Halloween vibes. But Mars is moving into Sagittarius. So those of you that have planets and placements in Sagittarius and Gemini and in Pisces and Virgo will feel it the most. But what that's going to give us is extra energy to make bold moves, to explore new directions in life, a sense of adventure maybe. We might feel more eager to take some risk. And there is overall that desire for freedom, for experiencing life and for expanding. So if you feel yourself wanting to take up a new course or trying new things and really expand, just follow that, because that's the Mars energy happening for you. So it starts on Tuesday and it will be going until mid-December. Now on Wednesday/Thursday, that's the biggest update for the week, we have a full moon in the sign of Taurus. So if you are in the US, it's happening on Wednesday, 8:19 a.m. in New York. In London, it's in the afternoon at 1:19 p.m. In Australia, it will happen just after midnight, so in the early hours of Thursday, the 6th. So it's a super full moon. We're having 3 super full moons in a row. This is the second one. So we're going to see it in the sky and we're going to feel it because it's closer to the Earth. It's happening at 13 degrees Taurus. So go and look in your chart which house that falls into. And being in Taurus, it's like the sun is casting a light on that part of our chart where we may be stuck, we may be fixated, we may be refusing to move on something, because Taurus is great at many things like patience and simplicity, but it can also really like kind of dig its heel, like think of the bull, and be very stuck and rigid. So the full moon is about releasing something in our life, something that just is kind of weighing us down. So it is going to shine a light on something in that area of your life where you just may be being too heavy and too risk averse, and you kind of digging your heels. It can be out of fear, or it can be because you hold a grudge, which would make sense with the sun being in Scorpio. So it could be like something, especially if you've been angry at someone or sitting on some resentment, or even with yourself, like this is the time to clear it, to detox it, to get it out, because you need to feel lighter and you need to move forward. it's really a time to release any deep-seated fears that maybe the sun in Scorpio has been extracting for you, or seeing where you are maybe stuck in the past, you are stuck in insecurities. So this is kind of saying, you know what, this is the time to let all of that crap go. It also could be an event when you are going to be releasing some patterns around money and finances, because Taurus is ruled by Venus. It is linked to money. So you may see things popping up that will make you clear and heal some of those patterns, especially around what you think you deserve, your own worthiness, again, those doubts and insecurities around your self-worth and your value and what you deserve to be paid, for instance. It may not feel very comfortable, and it might feel intense because it's close to us, but it's there to release things in order for things to flow better in your life. And I think after everything that we've been through since eclipse season across September and October, this is a full moon where we can sort of really feel steady amongst all of the changes that have happened. So it's releasing, but in a soft, caring way, I find. It's not a water moon, it's an earth moon, but it's very grounded. So it's an opportunity to turn inwards right now and see all the things that have shifted, whether they're internal or external in your life. Take a big breath and kind of take all of that and let everything out that needs to be released. Now, in addition to this, there's a T-square happening, basically a tension point in the sky at the same time between Venus, opposite Chiron, and the pointy side of the square is Jupiter in Cancer. And this is important because Venus rules this moon. So what we're likely to see is this super full moon, middle of this week, is likely to be a continuation of something that started at the new moon on October 21st. So go back into your note what happened that day. For me, I'm really interesting to see because definitely something really happened at work on that day. So this is likely to be the continuation. Something will come into full clarity and maybe a turning point. And so we have Venus is square to Jupiter. So we are going to see where maybe we're like overexpanding ourselves, overgiving, overspending as well. So to get a better balance between those two things. And it's opposite Chiron, which talks to our wounds around ourself and especially our sense of self-worth. So in the context of love and relationship with Venus. So we will see where we are giving too much of ourselves, where there is maybe a lack of reciprocity, or where we're trying to earn love, So it's kind of that unhealthy love pattern where we're giving too much of ourselves, or, we're buying something because we don't feel enough. So watch out for those kind of energies around the full moon, but it's there to help you heal and learn from that pattern and shed it. We also have at the same time as this full moon an opposition between Mars and Mercury in Sagittarius. Those two are getting really close. They will cross and meet next week. More on that later. But right now, during the full moon, they are in opposition to Uranus. That is significant because that means there could be a sudden change that will happen through a conversation. You could be having a liberating discussion, or you could be making sudden decision, but not sudden as in crazy decision. I mean, they may look crazy, but they will be something that frees you up, that you've been sitting on. So it may have that radical aspect to it, but I would say flow with it. It's meant to happen. Obviously, ponder those decisions, but don't be afraid by the scale of them, because they may involve something pretty out there, pretty different from the norm, but welcome that. Now, a couple of questions for you under this full moon. Where are you resisting change? Where do you need to hold on? versus letting go. I think it's that tug of war, right? So think about that. Think about steadying yourself, between what stays and what goes, and don't be afraid to let things go. This is the best moon to do that because you will get the grounding, stable energy of Taurus to do that. This isn't a like rip it all kind of super moon. Now, in terms of practical tips around the full moon, great time to really, I would say, sit at home, go inwards. This isn't a big extrovert time, and ground in your body, whichever way you can access that. It's a time for comfort. So if it's cold where you are in the world, like rug up, have a beautiful, cozy night in. Eat something nice, that brings you that comfort and pleasure. Also, a really good time for some self-care or body practices, like things that are going to make you feel really good and centered and balanced in your body. Anecdotally, I have booked a massage for Wednesday without even knowing about this full moon. So I'm very excited because it's exactly what I will need. And it's also a great time to focus on your skills, on your resources and your talent, and to be in nature. So really focus on those things. I've got to keep going because I'm already over the normal time. So Thursday, straight after this full moon, Venus enters Scorpio. So it has been in Libra for the last month, where remember everything was about love is in the air. And now we are going deep, deep, deep. With Scorpio, it's about deepening your relationship, whether they're with a special person or with yourself. It's about deepened intimacy. It's a time where our magnetism, our charm is really dialed up. Also, this is a time to heal our patterns around love, trust, fears in relationship, including fears of vulnerability, fear of abandonment. So you hear it. This is shadow work for relationship. If you are open to it, that's where the energy will take you. Or it could be definitely about your relationship becoming more intense, or also some deep honesty happening there, whether it's with yourself or with your partner. So be careful to not turn into a controlling person in your relationship, and just leverage that depth to your greatest good. Friday the 7th in the world and the Saturday in Australia, we have Uranus changing sign. So Uranus has been in Gemini since July 7th. That was a big kind of change back then. And it's been going retrograde for a couple of weeks. And now it's going back as part of its retrograde into Taurus. So it's going to sit at 29 degrees Taurus from Saturday this week. And we are going to feel it because those outer planets, when they change sign, it really changes the whole flavor. So it's coming back for a couple more months, and it will again move back into Gemini in April next year. So if you like, this is the last ingress into Taurus. Uranus has been in Taurus for the last 7 years, so this is a new energy, but it's there to finish the lessons. And that last degree is always very critical, so things might feel a little heated, either in your life or collectively. I think globally we are likely to see more earthquake because Uranus is that shaky, sudden electric energy. And also we might see a bit more chaos on the financial markets because Taurus is linked to money. But when it comes to you, look back to some of those lessons that have happened the last 7 years in that area of your chart. It is going to be about relationship with your body and belief about money and wealth and abundance. And it's about how you are finding and defining stability, security. And those lessons might be coming actually through a pretty unstable way because Uranus acts that way, but it's to help you set the right things in place. So it's going to feel like that. We're going to be working on those things until the start of April. And I've got one more thing to talk you through, and I've kept the best for last. My dear friends, on Sunday the 9th, Mercury is going retrograde for a couple of weeks until the end of the month. So it's not a long retrograde, but we don't always love it, but it's happening for us to reflect, to pause, to slow down, which I think is a good thing at that time of the year. So this is what this retrograde is inviting you to do. And at the beginning, it will retrograde through Sagittarius, and then we'll talk about when it retrogrades back into Scorpio. But in Sagittarius, it's about questioning, reassessing what you believe to be true. Questioning your belief and looking if they've been maybe too rigid, and look at the bigger picture of your life. It's like you zooming out. Maybe we've been so caught up in the details lately. This is the opportunity. And this is very much an inward transit. So this is about you. But that means things might be a little less organized and powered in the external world, which, happens around Mercury retrograde. So look out, especially if you are traveling, allow extra time, check everything, because there could be some last minute changes and variations. So flow with them if they happen. And as usual, back up your technology, allow for extra time when you're in transport. Those things might get affected over the next 3 weeks until the end of the month. And as usual, hold off on making any major decisions, signing contracts, enrolling in new courses. It's perfect for you to explore things, but just don't sign yet. Wait until you're in December to do so. All right. I'm going to leave it here. It's been a very long update. As you can see, big week in the sky. So pace yourself through it day by day. Really focus on exhaling at that full moon and see what needs to get released gracefully. And then you will flow with the other transits. That will happen over time. It's not just a one-day thing. Venus into Scorpio, deepening your relationship, or Uranus back into Taurus. Those things will unfold over the next few weeks. So you have time. So focus on the full moon and have a very grounded week amidst everything else happening around you. Take care, everyone. I'll speak to you next week. Bye for now.